This is the Range Rover Velar in R Dynamic SE, guys. And I think it is without a doubt the most beautiful SUV in the world. And it knows it. Look at that smug grin, that Kardashian bottom, that swept back profile, like a powerboat for the land. Sleek is not a sleek enough word for the Velar. From those headlights to the taillights, every panel, every join fits perfectly smoothly into place. I've said that before. That bit about an SUV being the most beautiful one in the world. That was about the Jaguar F-Pace. The F-Pace might be the most beautiful luxury SUV in the world. Things have changed. I no longer have a beard, and the Velar has arrived. Actually, the Velar and the F-Pace are related. They've got the same parents, Jaguar Land Rover. In fact, they even share the same platform. But I reckon the Velar wears it better. Much better. It's like a Range Rover from the future. Well, it's not. It's a Range Rover from now. It's just that for the past million years, Range Rovers have always looked the same. Well, not the Evoque. That looks different. Well, actually, this is kind of a cross between the Evoque and the Range Rover Sport. Actually, that's exactly where it sits in the whole Range Rover family lineup. Evoque, Velar, Range Rover Sport, Range Rover. As I said in my godlike voice, this is the SE grade. What do you get in the SE grade? You get 20-inch alloy wheels and matrix LED headlights. You don't get that in the lower grades. Now, because this has the R Dynamic pack, these 20-inch alloy wheels get 10 spokes. You also get these finny bits in the front air intakes and the fog lights. You get black capped wing mirrors, and you get shiny exhaust tips. In here is my favourite. It's a twin turbo V6 diesel engine, and it packs the biggest torque punch of the lot, 700 Newton meters. Let me show you inside. Oh, check this out. Flush mounted door handles that deploy themselves. When you get in the car and you drive off, they suck themselves back in again, as if this car needs to be any sleeker. The Velar R Dynamic SE's innards are just as dramatic as its outsides. This is an impressive cabin, from the perforated grained leather seats, which you also get on the S grade, to the 17-speaker Meridian sound system and the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, which stepping up to the SE adds. That Range Rover of the future feel is strong in here as well. Just look at those expansive dual displays. Other brands have tried to do this before and just come off looking a bit aftermarket, but not Land Rover. This looks incredible. Now, the Velar's big party trick are the dual screens. Other brands don't do it very well. They look a bit aftermarkety, but Land Rover in their Range Rover Velar totally nail it. When you open the door and you see the two screens, it's a bit of a moment. Now, your top screen is for navigation and media and your phone. Your bottom screen is for climate control and for vehicle settings, your four-wheel drive modes. It is a little bit tricky to get used to because these climate control knobs also double as vehicle control dials. I've had it for about 5 days so far, and I reckon I've got the hang of it, sort of. Now, the R Dynamic pack brings you these metal pedals down there. You get the R Dynamic scuff plates, you get the chrome shifting panels, which are really nice, and you get the aluminium trim throughout the cabin as well. So the Range Rover Velar is a mid-size SUV, but it's only about 20 centimeters shorter than a Range Rover Sport. As for room inside, it's not as roomy as its largest dimensions may suggest on the outside. Up front, it's absolutely fine. I mean, this passenger cell here, or the driver cell here, is quite compact, but headroom is good, legroom is good, shoulder room is good. Let me show you in the back. It's not stuffy. It's kind of, well, it's verging on snug, but still, it works for me. I'm 191 centimeters tall. That's pretty tall for a human being. And I've got still quite a bit of space between the back of that, which is in my driving position, and where I am now. These seats also have a backrest adjustment on them as well. You can have them going forwards and backwards. That's good, and that works for headroom too. Actually, headroom is excellent. Even with the sunroof, I've got more than enough space for my noggin, which is really good. Let me show you the boot. Now, we had to get the manual out for the next bit here. It's the gesture tailgate. We couldn't work out how to open it. It was like a chorus line of kicks just a moment ago. But basically what we found out from the manual is that if you kick right about there, the tailgate opens. It works on both sides. So kick, pop. Looks easy now. Now, the Velar's boot is pretty big. It's about 100 litres bigger than the Evoques. It's about 100 litres smaller than the Range Rover Sports. And it's actually bigger than the F-Paces as well. So we have managed to fit in one of these giant suitcases and our enormous CarsGuide purple pram.
And then there's these buttons. Press that one and the Velar will lower itself like an elephant crouching down to make the boot's load height even lower and easier to lift your things into.
But enough about how much junk we can put in the trunk. You want to know how it drives. Let's go. Both V6s come standard with air suspension. This is, as we said before, the turbo diesel V6, and that air suspension just makes the ride deliciously comfortable. Like you'll see a rough bit of road approaching you and you'll kind of wince as you're about to go over it, and then you just float over it. I'm not going to say magical because I'm not that type of guy, but it's pretty amazing. Now, the air suspension means that there is a little bit of roll in the corners, as you can see there, but this also has adaptive suspension too, so it firms up the suspension, makes sure that you can handle a little bit better, or actually a lot better. The Velar is also on, and like the F-Pace, it's on the XF and XE platform. Those are car platforms, so handling is naturally good as well. So to quote Zaf Brannigan, she looks like a steakhouse, but she handles like a bistro. Okay, the diesel engine, the V6 twin turbo diesel. It is noisy. It does sound like a truck, but it's allowed to. It's a Land Rover. What's it good for? Well, power, 221 kilowatts. It's not as powerful as the V6 petrol, but 221 kilowatts. You know what? My 2002 Monaro CV8 made 225 kilowatts. It's a V8 LS1 engine straight out of the box. This V6 is making almost that. But what this engine's all about is the torque. 700 Newton meters of it. Now, torque is that feeling of shove you get in your chest when you plant your foot. When you're sitting on a plane and it's running down the runway and you're pinned to the back of your chair, that is torque. And this has got gallons of it. Now, visibility is fantastic. I love Range Rover bonnets. They are square and flat and they're broad, and you can see where they begin and end. I love that type of assurance. These A-pillars, from the outside, they look like they're going to be permanently in your field of view, but they're actually set so far back that they don't get in the way at all. Now, rearward visibility. That back window is small, but the reversing camera has the widest angle camera I have ever seen. It's excellent. Now, the steering is super light. It's super accurate, but it's very light and it's a little bit numb. But that's very Range Rover as well. The regular Range Rover drives like that as well. It adds to the luxury of the vehicle. It detracts from the drivability of the vehicle, but it definitely makes it a more luxurious, easy steering SUV. And that's what this is. This is a real Range Rover. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite Range Rovers because it's not overpriced, yet it's the best looking one that they make. And in terms of all the equipment you get, it could well be the most value for money Range Rover they've ever made. This is a jaw-droppingly beautiful beast. It's agile, it's comfortable, and it's affordable compared to the full-fat Rangy. And like any Land Rover product, it's a capable off-roader as well. The Velar has all-wheel drive and a rear locking differential. Now that brings me to the off-roading component of this review, because you're going to want to get out there, into the rough stuff.
Yeah, right.